If you don't want to be misgendered, then you need to be giving woman, not founding father.
Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alexis Blake. I am a trans woman and I share my life, stories and opinions on social media. Today we're going to do another reaction video. My opinions on some other trans content creators that I've seen sort of pop up this week. If that's your sort of thing, sit back, relax, get a cup of tea, coffee or glass of wine and let's dive in. The first video we're going to react to today, I actually saw on Brandy's TikTok, another trans woman who is fabulous, very honest, she's beautiful and she just says it as it is, which I love. I actually went looking for the original video and I think the creator's taken it down. So I'm just going to be as neutral as possible and just sort of see if I agree or disagree with some of the things that they're saying.
You're not transgender. You're like embarrassing. I'm sorry. Your doctor told you what your gender was and you listened? Oh, poor baby. My doctor told me I was a man and then I spent 19 years as a theater kid twink, a football center, and then I became a woman. My life is so much cooler than yours. I got to choose femininity. I got to choose to transition. It was amazing. I took what I had, what was given to me, and I changed it to fit what I wanted my life to look like.
Okay, let's process. Denial is a river in Egypt. I'll start by saying that. One thing I do want to say is that I think possibly the video might be satire. So I'm going to try and keep that in the back of my mind while I sort of analyse it, because surely it's not 100% serious. First of all, your doctor told you what your gender was and you listened. Poor baby. It's a little bit cringe and I just think, why? Clearly there's some sort of personal battle going on and I think it's a bit of a defense mechanism. I feel like this person's had some hatred. They are getting bigger and bigger on TikTok and I feel like they've had some negative comments. And that's their sort of backlash. You know, when people just sort of snap and retaliate, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from it. It's not coming from someone who is very comfortable in their own skin, receives... What the f***? I don't think it's coming from someone who is necessarily super comfortable with everything that's going on in their life, and to have such a uncalled for response, I'm not really sure where it's coming from. I think the reality is, and I'm just going to be completely honest and real right now because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Transition is expensive. You're becoming a medical patient for the rest of your life. It can be hard. You can lose family, you can lose friends. There's a lot of like grueling stuff that goes into it. And I'm not just saying that to sort of bring down the tone of the video, but I think to make such a light-hearted, I decided I was going to transition and then I did it and my life's so much better than yours, it's kind of giving that energy and I'm not enjoying that whatsoever. To diminish what trans people go through and what this person is going through, it kind of just makes us look stupid. And it kind of makes you look stupid, if I'm being completely honest. Also, one other thing, that they say that they chose femininity, which is great, love that for you. But they were kind of implying that you have to be either biologically female or trans or non-binary to experience femininity. I think anyone can experience femininity. Let's not put ourselves in a box, which I'm sure this person would have a massive issue with masculinity and femininity. It feels like, okay, how do I say this without like getting anyone mad? So it feels like a little bit with certain people in the LGBT community that the masculine and femininity thing is all about gender. They're saying they had to transition to express their femininity. That's the kind of thing I'm getting from it, which is not always the case. You can get feminine boys. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a feminine man or a feminine boy or a masculine woman. It's okay. It doesn't mean you have to transition or change genders. I think there's a weird sort of, okay, so I think I'm more feminine and I'm a biological male, I must transition. It's not always the case. And I think sometimes it takes a little bit of time to reflect and understand that that's not always the right option for everyone. I don't want to spread hate on this content creator because not all of the content is like this. So I do feel like this video came from a response to something, a reaction to something, a trigger from something. But I just want to say, it's just, if I could give a little piece of advice, it's just be careful, because I don't disagree with every single thing that they're saying in the video on men and women who aren't trans. That's where it can become a little bit of a problematic area, and that's all I will say, and we'll move on to the next one. Before we jump into this video, actually, I do want to do a little disclaimer. I know that there is a lot of problematic stuff around Jeffrey Marsh. I know that people have a lot to say, and when they make the content for young people and children, it's creepy. I will say that straight out the gate. And there's been a lot of controversial, questionable things said and done by this creator, but I just want to look at this one specific video in itself and not try and focus on all of that, because I know there's a lot of stuff surrounding this person. Okay, let's dive in.
I am non-binary. I'm not a woman, but I wanted to jump in and address this comment because it seems like you are trying to decide who gets to be a woman, who's a real woman based on someone's body, based on someone's behavior, based on whether they look the correct way, based on your idea of what the parameters of a woman should be. And I'm wondering if any of that feels familiar to how you've been policed for your entire life as a woman.
Don't we just love it when biological men tell women what to do and feel and how to think? Oh, it got me that. It really wound me up. So let's look at the statement before we look at Jeffrey's response. So trans women are not women. True. Trans women are in fact trans women. True. Born biological men. Still very true. Nothing wrong with that, but still. Something in my eye. Oh, I don't think that comment's coming from a hateful place around trans women. It's very neutral. It's very to the point. It's very direct. And I agree with everything that person said. So it kind of feels a bit rage baited. Of all the comments Jeffrey receives, and there is a lot of negative comments, I think to pick one where someone is just being honest about the reality of biology. To pick a comment where someone's being honest about the reality of biology, not the best move, I'll be honest. They're saying that this person's deciding who gets to be a woman by what they look like, how they appear. There's nothing there. There's nothing in that comment. If we're just going off this singular comment, there's nothing there about how a woman should look or how a trans woman should present or anything like that. It's just a straight factual comment. This also begs a question. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's no open conversation, there's no dialogue, there's no back and forth. It's if you disagree in a slight way or if you point something out that someone doesn't like with these trans creators, you're deemed the enemy, you're deemed a TERF, you're deemed a pick-me, not referring to myself, and you're also deemed a transphobe when that person is actually true. What I would suggest, I don't think Jeffrey will ever see this or listen, but what I would suggest is maybe try and understand more where someone's coming from. You're not acknowledging that there's reality. Like, we live in reality. Feels like sometimes on TikTok, reality's lost, and this is just the truth. I don't know how else to say it. The person's not coming after trans people. They're not saying there's a right or wrong way to be a woman. I think Jeffrey just needs to maybe focus on some of their other negative comments on what people are thinking and saying and look at that rather than someone who is just stating facts. This sounds weird, but we're going to react to Blaire White reacting to someone who's trans. And I saw this clip in one of the videos, and I do want to say one thing before I watch the video. I don't say I've grown up watching Blaire White, but I've watched her for years and years and years, and her content has changed and developed in so many different ways over the years. I will say that I don't always agree with everything Blaire White says. She's quite brutal and honest and direct. She says her opinion like it is, but I do want to react to this video because I think it's quite an interesting one.
To stop your parents from misgendering you this holiday season. So say you're at a family event and your parents misgender you in front of everyone. Simply release all of the in your body onto the floor. Start on the floor. Start on the floor. And when your family's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Just go, "My parents never taught me how to in the toilet, so I have to on the carpet."
First of all, I don't know what is going on with trans TikTokers and having the Benjamin Franklin hair. And for you to be giving white man at all of any century is the problem, right, sis? If you don't want to be misgendered, then you need to be giving woman, not founding father. It's not lost on me also. I know this person's mostly kidding, but like, it's not lost on me just how gross y'all are. How easily, like, I know I'm foul-mouthed, but how easily y'all go into like, and like, you know who like just so easily talks like that is like men.
Okay, let's look at the video she was reacting to first. I do think there was some satire there. Do I get the sense of humour and joking? Is it my sort of sense of humour and joking? No. But I do think it was coming from like a jokey place. Let's be real. It's just the brutalness that she has. There's so sometimes like I just go like, oh, like my whole body tenses up when she says certain things, like with the comment about the hair.
I don't know what is going on with trans TikTokers and having the Benjamin Franklin hair.
It's brutal. One thing I will agree with Blair when she says,
If you don't want to be misgendered, then you need to be giving woman.
that's not always possible depending on someone's genetics. I think transitioning at different ages can also change the outcome depending on the money that someone has, the background they have, where they're growing up, where they are in the world. A lot of things can go into if someone passes, and that's a whole thing. Like, I've not really spoke about passing and passing privilege, and some people want to pass, some people don't want to pass. I think I do want to do a little video on that in the coming weeks, so let me know if you want to see that. What was I saying? Our brains assign people genders. Even people who are non-binary and trans, we don't mean to do it, but we do. Our brains automatically go, that's male or female. It's like a primal thing. It takes like 0.03 seconds for our brains to register someone's gender. When we're walking down the street, we do it automatically. To give woman, as Blair said, or to get gendered she, her, I think there's certain ways or things that you can do to get to or try and get to if that's what you want. I'm trying to tread very lightly because when I've spoke about passing in the past, like that was always one of my goals to transition. It still is my goal. That's what I want. That's why I'm getting like my FFS surgery, my facial feminization. Some people don't like it. Some trans people don't like it when you talk about it. You're told that you have privilege, and why would you want that? It's a very unusual dark corner of the trans community, I think, that conversation. It's kind of true though. If you want she, her pronouns, you have to look a certain way. It's just, I don't want to be like brutal, but that is what it is, unfortunately. It's the world that we live in today. And that's not me saying it has to be that way. That's just society as we are now and how people perceive each other. That's just what it is, unfortunately. Let me know if you... Do you know what? Does anyone know what I mean about the passing thing? Like, I've seen certain TikTokers, content creators, talk about passing. It's almost certain ones look down on passing, or if you say you want to pass, you're a bad trans person because that shouldn't be the goal of transitioning. There should be more to it. And there's so many things that I've seen about it. And then people say to me that I have passing privilege. There's a lot that I want to talk about with that subject because it's a big, deep subject. It's just a very controversial part of the trans community, I think. It's very divided. Anyway, that's everything for today. If you do enjoy this kind of content, please do like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I do weekly videos such as this, and then me and my partner Liam have a podcast that we release every week to 2 weeks as well. If you have any content that you would like me to do, anything you want me to talk about, anything you want to see in future, please comment below. I'm always looking for new ideas to keep you guys entertained, I guess, because I want to make things that you want to see. Obviously, it's all good and well me sitting here doing what I truly want to do all the time, but sometimes it's nice to make what people want to see. Anyway, I am rambling on. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Bye!